Great Sunday evening. Hope you had a wonderful, marvelous worship day, beginning of a new week. And I I don't know if you ever had this. I think everybody who's living, when you are disappointed with yourself. And look, I was watching a small video about CBS, and then I went down a rabbit hole. And I think 4 hours later, I came out of the tunnel, and I was like, what happened? And even though I was doing work in the background, but it just went from one video to another to another. So I was telling my son, I really used to admire this one comedian actor who I just always thought had smart humor, but then after listening to some material, I was like, But David Alan Grier, he started out Living Color. You remember the sketch comedy of African Americans, and that's where Jim Carrey got his start, and Jamie Foxx and the Wayans brothers and Kim Wayans, and just so much talent. Well, anyway, I was telling my son, what's the name of that show that's supposed to be coming out? Jamie Foxx. Daddy, you're embarrassing me. And that's the daughter, Jamie Foxx's daughter, is the executive producer, and Jamie Foxx is playing a father in a lot of real life scenarios, and David Alan Grier is playing the grandfather or the father of Jamie Foxx. So it looked like it was going to be decent on Netflix, but I was like, if this is why I don't have a television, because I can't spend all that time. But anyway, he was someone who I admire. But say if you just had that feeling where you're just like, oh my goodness, I just wasted this time. I'm so disappointed in myself, or I'm angry with myself. Well, you're probably like, what does this have to do with 1 Samuel 11? Because Saul became angry, but it was godly anger. And what it was that he caught wind of what was happening to some of the Israelites. There was a camp, the Ammonites, and the king Nahash was severely oppressing the tribes of Gad and Reuben. And he was poking out the right eyes. And oh my goodness, the people became afraid and then said, you know what, we'll serve you, come up with a treaty. And Saul was like, what? I didn't know about this. And it's been going on for a month. And he was the king. And he was like, no. So he had godly anger. It says that the Spirit of God came over Saul. He became very angry. This is the type of good anger when you're directing it either to yourself or to someone else, because you won't do anything regretful. So what he did was he came up with a plan, and he spoke confidently. He said, tomorrow by this time you will be rescued, by the time the sun gets up. So he spoke confidence. We got to speak confidence to ourselves. Like, I'm going to get organized. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put in so many hours of work to get this accomplished, right? When you feel disappointed in yourself. And so he spoke confidently. Then he came up with a plan. He was like, I'm going to divide the troops, the army. There will be 300,000 troops from Israel and 30,000 troops from Judah, and we're going to come against them. So he came up with a plan. He spoke confidently. He continued the job. He didn't give up. It says that they came into the Ammonite camp during the morning hours and continued to defeat the Ammonites until it got hot that day. Okay, so he handled the business. So what are we to do? We're to come up with a plan. That's what I was telling my son. When we waste time, come up with that plan. Write the plan. Write the vision. Make it plain. And speak confidently, like, I'm going to do this. I can do all things through Christ, through his strength. Continue. Do not give up. And they had victory. And look what Saul did and what he said. Because people were like, who were the people who doubted that Saul was to be king? Let's kill them. Because because he had such a great victory, and they were about to, some people were like, who spoke out against him? Those folks who remember were just despised him. Listen, and Saul, this was beautiful. He said in verse 13, no one will be killed today because the Lord saved Israel. So when the Lord gives us a plan, gives us victory, man, we got to give credit to the Lord. I tell you, that's powerful. What do you have to say about that? Going into a new week, we all waste time. But what do you have to say about that as far as your determination or anything that spoke to you? Proverbs 11 or anything?
I'll plan and speak confidently.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, right? He said tomorrow during this time. So this week, tonight, we're going to do some things because the enemy wants to steal, kill, destroy our confidence. So in Proverbs 11, listen, by the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. No, we're not listening to the accusations like, oh, you're a loser. Oh, you did this. No, we're listening to the declarations of the Lord. We're looking to him. The seed of the righteous shall be delivered. He is the one who will give us direction, and he's the one who gives us victory. He is the one that will keep us humble. It says, when pride cometh, then cometh shame. But with the lowly is wisdom. The Lord will give us the plan. The Lord will give us the game plan, the words to speak, the confidence, the direction, everything. So let's go get them. Let's not be discouraged by what we've wasted. All right? Anything else? You can do all things through Christ with his strength. Have a great evening.